That is where ham radio has the upper hand, is the enjoyment factor. Think of it like this. You're hungry, so you go to the supermarket to buy fish sticks. They're yummy, cheap, easy to get, and easy to prepare. You know they're not going to change. They're going to be pretty consistent. Or you could go fishing. You could buy a $150 rod and reel. You could buy a $20,000 boat, pay for gas, and spend a day fishing. You might catch a fish or you might not. So why would someone possibly want to go through all that effort when you can get fish much cheaper and reliably? It's the thrill of the chase, the enjoyment. Why do people go hunting if they can just buy a nice steak at the store? Enjoyment. The people who buy fish sticks are the youth of America. They like cell phones and computers because they're relatively cheap. They're not really cheap, but relatively cheap. Easy to use and pretty consistent in what they do, although that's always changing. The people who go fishing or hunting are like the ham radio operators, the experimenters. We know there's an easier way to talk to someone across the country. We know we could just wait and let someone else invent a wristwatch radio, but we take enjoyment out of doing it differently. I'm personally a contester and a DXer. I enjoy the challenge, I enjoy the chase. I could always just participate in more sports for competitiveness or call someone across the world on a telephone if I want to talk to someone. But I like the challenge of the bands, the changing conditions, how if I get on the air at 12 o'clock and then get back on 1, it's going to be totally different. I like doing simple tasks differently, breaking down complicated communications into their simplest form and manipulating those forms to get the most out of them. Any ham that likes DX or contesting, or even just drag chewing or QRP operating, has the same bug. Bringing the most out of their radio and antenna. We take genuine enjoyment in the technique of the hobby itself, as do all hams. We take genuine delight in the hobby in what we do. You can hook any youngster on ham radio just by exposing them to the right contest or DX challenge, so they can see the fun of the chase, the reward of when you hear your 5-9 thank you. That's why we operate Field Day, so the youth can see the chase. Ham radio has infinite chases to follow. QSL cards, certificates, worked all, whatever it may be. I know there's hundreds of them. Morse code literacy, antenna building, rig building, or weather spotting, emergency preparedness. It literally goes on forever. There's always something else to learn, something new to learn. That is how we need the youth of America to see ham radio today. And another thing is, I see this commonly, is a young person will get interested, they kind of kick around the hobby for a while and then become an active. And a key point is, it's not enough to get them into the hobby, to get them licensed, but you have to get them involved. You have to get them to come to meetings, to go to public service events, your field days. Why? Why will youth continue in ham radio if they have no interest, if they have no reason to continue in ham radio, if they have no reason to attend meetings? The meetings is where new hams come, where prospective hams come. The meetings are where the public can come and see how ham radio is and how we operate and how we socialize. Despite the stereotypes depicted by reality television, most teenagers and younger people, we don't live extremely busy social lives. We don't usually go to parties every night. We aren't always busy with plans for a night out on town. We usually have plenty of free time, plenty of energy that can be channeled. If we can integrate teenagers into our clubs and get them to become involved, the more they do, the more they will learn. The more they will learn, the more addicted to the hobby they'll get. Believe it or not, we actually do like learning. School's not a big favorite of ours, but when we learn something new and then can apply it with a practical application, it feels good. It's something that we take great pride in. There's also much untapped energy, skills, and intellect that young hams have to offer. Putting them in a position of leadership, giving them obligations and responsibility for a club or event can be very rewarding. They'll most likely have a blast and will be determined to accomplish as much as they can, as efficiently as they can. They will learn what works and what doesn't, learn how to work with different people, and learn effective leadership skills. We want that experience to come from ham radio, so they will be more willing to step up in the future for positions such as club president, ARRL section manager, or whatever position they may be. I was talking to the Kansas section manager, Ron Cowan, KV0DTI, and he says one of the things that prompted him to become section manager was when he was young, he would go to radio club meetings, and he was always asked what he thought of club business. He served on the board several times. He probably did give me details about when he served on the club committee, but he found enjoyment in going to the meetings and belonging to the club and being an asset to the club. We want our younger hams to not only find enjoyment in operating, but in organizing. We want them to enjoy going to meetings, enjoy recruiting, enjoy working with others to advance ham radio. Where they can be used most is, of course, recruiting. It attracts younger people if they see others their age in the hobby. It helps make the hobby appear more open to all ages in general, young or old. At this point in time, we still do need to go into the field ourselves to do recruiting. However, it's very much like field day planning if you go to any club and listen to what their plan is going to be to go to a school club for a presentation. We all love to discuss our strategies, our antenna plans, and all the fun details such as what are we going to eat and who's going to cook the food. However, when it comes time for the actual setup, there are usually less who are eager to do that than there were for the planning. And then when field day actually starts, there are even less that care to sit at the microphone for hours, calling CQ early in the morning when everything seems slow, when the second hand seems to just creep by. Last field day, we all pitched in, and we all worked hard, and we all had fun. We also placed first in our 3A category in the Midwest, and the top 10% in the nation. It was hard, it was fun, we got positive results. And we also had a huge impact on youth. We had around 15 young visitors come out to our field day. All of them got on the air, and since then, to my knowledge, 2 or 3 have become licensed. Most notably, a young man named Ryan, KD0EWB. If any of you were out there overnight, he called CQ on 6 meters all night long, making 3 contacts. However, when morning came, 6 meters opened up, and he finally got what he was looking for and got a nice pilot going. Since then, he's become licensed, he's working on his general, and he attends every meeting he can, no matter what the club may be. We want to see ham radio to continue to grow. We want to see ham radio continue to prosper and continue to affect the lives of all who have been associated with the hobby in any way. Recruiting is how we can continue a tradition of international goodwill, technical excellence, and fun. Remember, ham radio is fishing, not fish sticks.